the regime detains some of its enemies without trial, giving the same reason as many colonial governments, that it was often impossible to get witnesses to come forward or to satisfy British laws of evidence in African conditions. Ghana is not a police state in the usual sense. The police have been much in evidence only after the 2 attempts to murder Nkrumah and the wild rash of bomb throwing among Accra crowds. Nkrumah has yet to execute a single one of his opponents, but he disturbed many of his admirers by dismissing a Chief Justice for failing to tip him off in advance that he was about to acquit 2 ex-ministers, who are now being retried for the same offence.
We all want a united Africa.
Kwame Nkrumah is a man of various moods. Grim urgency is one mood. Nkrumah has a more intensive sense of the enormity of the task African governments have set themselves than any other leader.
Must be solved only on a continental basis.
But this also is Kwame Nkrumah. The boyish charm and personal modesty are part of the essence of the man that gets overpainted by crude propaganda. This happier aspect is clouded when security considerations force him to live in Christiansburg Castle, where he feels cut off from the people and oppressed by thoughts of the slave fort's former use. Then his impatience seems to dominate him totally. Nkrumah has committed much of his prestige to continental union now. I raised the apparent lack of response among the assembled heads of state with one of his advisors, Dr. Bankole Akpata.
All of them, without exception, agree that the African unity is desirable and that only in the union government we will be able to move forward more quickly in the modern world. The only thing that some of them were saying was that they needed a little time, that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah would want union now. Some of them said, yes, new union, but we should go step by step. But how can you go step by step when the burning issues of our problems against poverty, against apartheid in South Africa, against Southern Rhodesia and so on, calls and demands now for us to unite our forces? And the facts are there. Take the United States of America with nearly 200 million people, the Soviet Union with 210 million people, the Chinese People's Republic with nearly 700 million people, the subcontinent of India with 450 million people. Africa has only a population of 280 million people. I mean, fragmented and disunited and so on. How can we emerge in the modern technological and scientific world if our disparate forces are going our separate ways? That is why the urgency of union government now cries out for effectual union for us to move forward. I think history and geography are on the side of Kwame Nkrumah.